Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to another interview we have going here at Barchart. And today we're with Golden Matrix Group, Inc., that's GMGI. And these two gentlemen here are going to be walking through their business. We have Brian Goodman with us today, who's the CEO of Golden Matrix Group, and Zoran Milošević, CEO of Merdianbet, which is a subsidiary of Golden Matrix. How are you guys doing today?
Good, Katie.
Excellent.
Great.
Thank you for hosting us.
Yes, and we're excited to dig in. You're in a very interesting space. I know you guys are a gaming tech company operating across a lot of different markets worldwide, and it sounds like you develop and own online gaming IP, intellectual property. So I want to get into what that all means. So I guess Brian, let's kick it off with you. Just want to level set on the business. What are your product offerings? How do you all make money? And what are the different ways you're growing the business?
Okay, so we're a very diverse company, Katie, in terms of the products we offer as well as our global footprint. So that's the strength that the company offers. And when we offer sportsbook, online sportsbook, we have online casino, we have raffle ticket businesses, we offer B2C. We operate as a B2C operator, as well as we offer B2B services to other operators, and pretty much that's how we generate money. We also have a retail presence across the globe, and we have retail betting stores that have slot machines and betting terminals, and that's pretty much how what the company does offer.
Great. And Zoran, I'm curious, it sounds like you're on the consumer facing side at Merdianbet. Is that correct? That's the consumer facing app?
Yes, and actually we run also B2B business. So Merdianbet is B2C and B2B. B2C currently is 90% of our revenues. B2B is 10%. Historically, B2B was actually much bigger portion. But over the years, we turned the business more into B2C segment because it's just more profitable. But B2B is here to stay, and basically we are very happy how it progressed, and it enable us to enter new markets. So every new market which we enter, in the beginning, it's B2B. So it's the cheapest way how to test and enter into new markets. And after a certain period of time, if we see that the market is performing well, we tend to turn it into B2C. So that's the basic model of the operation. In terms of your question about technology, we are coding our software from day one. So last 25 years, it's continuous coding. So whatever you see, what we deliver to our customers is actually made by us. So on the sports betting side, casino side, in the back office, front end, all apps, all software for retail, for online, it's all made by us. So currently about 120 developers are coding our software.
Wow. And so, yeah, it sounds like you're always building. And I'm curious, you're on the ground floor of the gaming online betting industry. I'm curious what demand you're seeing for which types of experiences, whether it's online, retail, iGaming. Where are consumer preferences headed, and where are you guys building towards?
Yeah, in terms of the first main split is between online and retail. Online, of course, is bigger segment. Is over 65-70% of the revenues comes from online, and online, of course, is faster growing than retail. When it comes to segmentation within online, this year, actually, 2025, last 2 months, we have first time domination of online casino. So online casino is now 52% of the revenues, 48 is sports betting. So this is the first time after 25 years that actually online casino took over. And we actually see that this trend will just continue. Online casino is just growing in faster than sports betting. Sports betting is a little bit considered as a legacy product, and older generations tend to bet on sports, at least in Europe, where majority of our revenues comes from. And online casino is more attracted to younger generations. And when it comes to online casino, what we see as a trend which is very interesting, is that all new customers which we registered like last 4 years, let's say from pandemics, they spend 85% of their money to online casino, 15 to on sports betting. And they like actually to see, when it comes to online casino, what we see that the customers like functionalities which they recognize from gaming world. Because our customers, young customers, in Europe it's 18, 19, 20, in US 21 and so on, but in Europe is from 18 you're legal to gamble. Whatever has some kind of functionality which they saw previously in the gaming world, they tend to like when it comes to online casino. So we are facing customers that are coming from gaming world, and as much as we have gaming functionalities built in, we see the rise of their interest.
Interesting. So when you say like you're taking references from the gaming world and that's where people are preferring to play, do you mean so instead of mimicking a casino experience on a screen, it's a different type of game that feels more native as a game versus taking a casino experience and translating it?
No, it's still the same game.
Yeah.
Only there is a lot of additional functionalities. So we tend to call it a lot of complications. So if you add a lot of complications like virtual stores, buying bonuses, free spins, many different layers of promotions, ability to transfer these promotions from one game to another, ability to connect as many games as possible, up to we call it gamification functionalities. So that means that customers can customize whatever they want inside of the game, but still the game is the same. That is what they like. That is what they saw actually playing Fortnite or other games in the past.
Got it.
And it's all translated into casino space. But still, the core game is the same. Roulette is roulette.
Yeah. So a hybrid. Brian, I want to shift over to the last financial results GMGI shared, or even going back a few quarters since you completed the acquisition of Merdianbet back in 2024. As you look towards reporting year-end results here in a few weeks, what can you share about the overall financial health of the business, how you feel about where things are today, and where you plan to take things next?
Well, I guess in short term, we couldn't be healthier. We have a solid balance sheet. On our last report, which was our Q3, we had over $38 million in cash. We have a low debt leverage ratio. We recently announced a preview of our 2024 results, which will come out in the next few days. But that preview showed that we had over 150 million in revenues for this financial year, and it's up 61% year on year. So very, very strong growth. And in actual fact, because of the acquisition, it did not include the first quarter's revenue of the legacy company, which is important to know. So if you add the companies together on a pro forma basis, we are over 163 million in revenues is what we'll be reporting. And I think that just shows how strong the company's core business is growing. And even at a modest growth on the core business of 25%, call it, going forward into 2025, we'd surpass 200 million in revenues. And so that's important to know. We've also just recently, as everybody knows, I think that follows the company, we've just been granted some very valuable licenses. We have Peru, we have now Brazil that's been granted, Brazil being one of the largest gaming markets in the world. It's a federal license, allows us to operate in entirely the entire country, as opposed to America where it's state by state. All of these items would basically transform the company in the next year, because the numbers I was previously talking to were just core growth. With these new opportunities, obviously it takes it to a whole new level, and they're very valuable licenses. They're regulated markets, so they're government regulated markets, and we've been fortunate, I say, but we've worked hard towards it and to get these licenses.
I'm glad you brought that up because somebody, I think today on X, was asking what was going on with the Brazil expansion. So it's great to get that update. And I'm curious, when you think about growth, is it going to be primarily from expanding into new markets? I'm curious because it seems like some markets, is it the case in some markets there might already be saturation among people who are into these experiences, they're already doing it and there's less growth ability? Or how do you think about growth within markets as well as growth through new markets?
Well, I guess just to cover the fact that the company will not only grow in terms of core business and new territories, but it also would look to potential additional acquisitions, and so we can scale the company quite considerably. But in terms of growing, I'll hand it over to Zoran in terms of how some of the mature markets will grow. Because of our technology, we believe that we have an edge. We're a disruptor. And as I've previously mentioned, we have a very diverse range of products and we're diverse in terms of our footprint, but we'll continue to grow those markets. But I'll hand that over to Zoran to talk about how we grow mature markets and then new markets.
So thank you for the question. Basically, our subsidiary and every country has a plan to achieve significant growth. So there is no difference for new markets or old market. What is a normal trend and what we experience is that new markets like Brazil and Kenya and whatever we opened will grow faster in terms of relative numbers because they're starting from zero, obviously. So you can see a growth of let's say triple-digit growth, but in terms of absolute numbers, mature markets will have higher numbers, of course. So mature markets will have, in relative numbers, slower growth, but still it will be growth. But in terms of absolute numbers, it will be higher, at least for a few years in the beginning until we get in the same position like in the new markets, like we have in the core markets, let's say.
Yeah,
so relative numbers will be bigger in new markets. Absolute numbers will be bigger in mature markets.
Right. So both are working at the same time, and I know.
Yeah, everybody has the same pressures.
Yeah, and I know, Zoran, you recently announced a 10-year renewal of Merdianbet's online gaming license in Serbia. So I want to ask what the importance of the Serbian market is for the company. And how do you see this strengthening the firm overall as you look at other markets around the world?
Yeah, this is very important for us, of course, because this is our first market where we started. This is our country, and so this has huge importance. We were the first company that actually renewed the license, so that will set the company for in some stable path and stable period ahead of us. And still, the biggest revenues from Europe comes from Serbia. So this is like huge achievement. But what we see happening around the world is that there is explosion of regulations when it comes to online gambling in general. And it started with the regulation of US. This is the biggest milestone that we ever had in the history of sports betting. And it made a big impact to the rest of the world, which didn't regulate sports betting yet. And looking to gambling from European perspective, it looks like saturated. It looks like there is no room to grow and so on. But this is really not like that outside of Europe. Europe is just a market that we have UK, for example, that is regulated for 70, almost 80 years. And the rest of the Europe is 25 to 30 years old regulations. And that is the reason why it looks like that. But still, there is a huge growth when it comes to Europe. But outside of Europe, this is the industry is booming, and we think that next 25 years will be 3 to 4 times bigger. Actually, all the numbers show that than what happened previous 25 years. So we are very optimistic, and that is the reason why we actually partnered with Golden Matrix, just to scale faster and to be present in the next 25 years when the biggest market are about to open. As you saw, almost all Latin American markets open. Brazil is basically, because of this licensing regime, which Brian described, this is actually the biggest market in the world. single market. You have announcement in India that we will eventually open. Japan has some kind of regulations about it. And basically what will happen next 20 years will be opening of Asia. And that's 65% of the population. So as I said, we are very, very optimistic about next 2 decades.
Yeah, the voiceover on the regulation is fascinating. I had no idea how far behind the US was relative to Europe and even the UK. That's astonishing.
70 years.
Wow.
but it's really incredible how US is catching up. So in like 5 years of regulation, US made companies that are bigger than anything what Europe made so far. So from 5 years of regulation in US, you have companies that are bigger than after 70 years in Europe. So that's the power of American market is amazing.
Yeah, and this might be a question for both of you. But how do you view the US in terms of scaling the business? I don't know why that's doing that. I didn't mean to thumbs down. But how do you view the US in terms of your expansion plans? Given that it does hold the key to unlock a lot of growth, how do you think about that? Are there complexities in the US market that you need to navigate that don't exist elsewhere?
No, so there is nothing happening what we didn't see somewhere else. As you know, we started operations in US 24th of December last year. We already announced that we are live with 5 sweepstakes casinos in US in just like 2 months. And we are very happy with how things progress. And in short, our plan for US starts with B2B, which we already started, and eventually transform the business, start also on a B2C level. We informed the public that we are busy getting the license in New Jersey. We are also in a licensing process in Ontario, Canada. So this is the plan. So we cannot precisely say the date when B2C operations will start, but definitely we are very busy and very happy with the B2B progress in US.
Awesome. And I want to flip from the US to Australia. Brian, I know you recently acquired an indirect majority stake in Classics for a Cause. And that's, of course, a leading online discount platform based out of Australia. Tell us a little bit about that acquisition and how it's being integrated into the overall Golden Matrix business.
So we could, I guess, view these products as raffle ticket type businesses. Our larger one is in the UK, was also an acquisition. Both of these businesses are very high performing businesses, and they're highly scalable. They're unique as well. And it's something that people look at and are quite astonished by, but they provide a strength to the overall business because the product's synergistic with whatever else we have. And just, I guess, for people who don't know what they are, in simple terms, we have these high value prizes, something like motor vehicles, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and we have a raffle, and basically people buy tickets. We buy a car, say a Ferrari, for $100,000. We sell $200,000 worth of tickets, and then people come and buy these tickets, and we have a draw. And those businesses have exponential growth. They're setting monthly all-time records, and they're becoming or have always been a considerable part of our business, and they have a lot of benefits to the overall business. We recruit players at a fairly low cost, a predictable cost, so roughly around £2.50, call it $2.50 per player. The average first purchase somewhere around $8. So they pay for themselves in their first purchase, which is, you couldn't ask for a better model. So every dollar we spend, we get $2 back, and we'll continue to scale those businesses. The interesting thing is that even if we have a 33% roughly margin on the product when we sell the tickets, most people don't want the motor vehicle when they win it. Everybody wants to win a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, but when you get delivery of the car, you realize how much it costs to maintain, and so you decide, well, I'm not so sure I want the car anymore. So we have a cash alternative, which we offer, which gives us an additional margin. We offer them some cash for the car, and that gives us better margin. But in terms of that business, like I say, it's highly scalable, it's very valuable, and it's showing huge strength. We've upped the ante on the prizes. We've taken it from jewelry to motor vehicles to vacations to now we're doing homes. So we're doing holiday homes, villas in Spain. So we upping the ante on that, and it's an interesting segment of the business. And then the Australian, obviously Australia is one of the largest or strongest gaming markets in the world. It's per capita is I think has more expenditure on gaming than any other country in the world. It has more slot machines per capita than any country in the world. So it's an extremely strong gaming market, and we expect that company also to continue to perform well, even though our UK business is a lot bigger, and it shows huge growth.
Yeah, it's so interesting. You broke down the payback period of the cost to acquire and then the time you get it back. That's relatively unheard of to be
in the gaming industry.
Fast.
Yeah, it is. It's unheard of. People in the start of the US launch of the gaming industry, people were paying more for their players than their lifetime value. So you can imagine it's a negative cycle. So that you pay $1,000 for a player and he only ever gives you $500 back. It's like a black hole. The more you spend, the less you have. So ours is very valuable in that way.
Yeah, and you alluded to this a little bit earlier, Brian, but I want to kind of double click on growth, perhaps inorganically. And I'm curious if you're thinking about that in terms of geographical, like getting into new regions, countries, or by operational vertical, such as like a new format for a gaming experience. How do you balance those two needs? Are you looking at one or both more than the other?
I think they all fit together in terms of the core growth. Obviously, as we've mentioned, we have some new valuable licenses, and they will, they will help to grow the business because they'll generate income and profitability that we never had before. And we could say that it's our core business because it's our core product. But at the end of the day, they new businesses in real terms. And on the other front, I'm not sure that we would go outside of our traditional gaming type products. So we would keep it as to what we have right now, because these products are synergistic, and they we'll have cost efficiencies now that we're implementing and using the acquisition in cross-selling our players to other products. So all of those things are happening. So it's a multitude of what you mentioned, vertical and core businesses. But also in terms of what I mentioned also early on, that we're looking at other acquisitions as well. But those acquisitions would be in line with, they would have to be something that's in line with what we already do. And also the company is quite conservative in these acquisitions. We wouldn't buy something that's not profitable and cash positive. And if we did, we would follow our normal process in that it would be part stock, part cash, and it would be an earn-out. So we would put the sellers' feet to the fire, if that's what you want to call it. In that they would need to deliver. We wouldn't just go out there and buy somebody else's problems. There's a lot of that happening in the gaming world, and we're very conservative, and we would make acquisitions that are accretive to the business, and that's how we would continue to grow the business as well.
Great. Now I want to pivot a little bit to AI. It's right there in the title of this interview, and it's everyone's talking about it across every single industry. And I hadn't personally thought about how AI impacts gaming. So Zoran, you talk about AI and its importance to gaming and entertainment. How have you all incorporated AI into your business, and how do you see it playing a role in your space into the future?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Basically, Golden Matrix, all of our businesses, raffle business, aggregation business, casino business, sports betting business, we all make our own technology, and we are basically a technology company. And whatever is happening in tech world is happening in gambling world, in sports betting technology as well. So there is no way that we can avoid that. So these are parallel processes, and AI is in gambling. It's here to stay, and to be precise, we are using it like in 3 different areas currently. So first is chatbots. So we launched multiple chatbots. So basically have virtual assistants on the site. That is number 1. Second are recommenders. So we currently have personal recommenders when it comes to casino, when it comes to sports betting, and the system can recommend you the whole ticket, the whole bet with the multiple matches on it, or it can recommend you match by match. So each match individually, so you can pick match by match. And third part is even in terms to offer, so we can personalize the prices or the odds for each individual customers separately. We call it Bet Boost system, where it depends on your past behavior or preferences. A system can give you individual price, which will keep you happy and will be competitive against the others. So basically, whatever is happening in other industries, and what you can see in Booking, Expedia, and so on, you can see in a gambling world. So we are playing with the algorithms since 2015, and last 2 years, actually last 5 years, we were developing new software, which his main purpose was to be AI ready, because with the old software we could play with the algorithms, but we couldn't employ any of AI functionalities. So it took us to build a completely new software, which we developed for over 5 years, and we started with release a year ago, and we are just now finishing release across the all countries. And this software is AI ready, so it enables us to fast implement AI functionalities. And just in like 6 months, we implemented 4 or 5 different AI functionalities. So the speed of development of AI functionalities will be rapid, and that is the main thing. And we are busy with more AI products, which we will announce hopefully soon.
It's so interesting to hear you've been at it since 2015, but people weren't talking about it as much then, or at least in today's terms. So very interesting stuff. I want to zoom out a bit. I think I read you guys had some new institutional interest in the recent days. Curious if you could voice over kind of where you're seeing that momentum coming from. And then I want to ask both of you to kind of look ahead, outlook for next 5, 10, 15 years. What do you see for the company? I'll kick off with Brian.
So yeah, I think institutional positions have gone up, and ultimately the company will speak for itself in terms of its results. Both companies prior to consolidation, or if that's what you want to call it, or merger, have had a strong history of profitability, no debt. And so, as I mentioned earlier on, we're fairly conservative in the way we approach things, but that's given us a history of, like I say, profitability, huge growth, and delivery, which is important. So we've always delivered on what we've set out to do. And as I mentioned early on with the numbers, we haven't really put out guidance as such yet, and we'll probably do that in this upcoming year-end results that are out soon. And so it's difficult to tell you what the company will look like, because I'll get myself into trouble. But in terms of just taking the run rate, as I mentioned in what we have told the public, and taking a very conservative growth, of 25%, bearing in mind we did 61% in what we're showing. We'd be over a $200 million company, and I suppose I'm going to jump onto the next part is that I don't want to seem arrogant, but my opinion is if you're not already an investor or a follower of the company, then now's the time. It's an opportune moment, and the company, you want to be part of the company's growth story. This is your best opportunity. I see this company as $1 billion company in the making, and our growth and profitability over time has demonstrated that we can be relied upon, and we no doubt we offer a huge upside, and don't miss out on this opportunity.
And where can investors learn more about the company? What's the best place for them to get updates?
I think just go to goldenmatrix.com, and on the website you'll see there's an investor section. We put up colorful decks, and we have graphs and pie charts, and you can see all of that. But also the actual website tells a story. There are some decks that also run through what we do, and you'll be able to see it for yourself. And it has a lot of information. And like I say, we'll be reporting fairly soon. But the opportunity is now, if that's what you want to do. And we feel strongly about our future. And it's not only that we feel strongly, we've shown very strong growth and performance.
And Zoran, I'll give you the final word here. From your purview leading Merdianbet, what do you see when you look ahead? Where are you focused? What do you want to leave our listeners here with today?
Thank you for the question. Basically, I'm 100% focused on the product and on our customers. So we are currently, as I said, rolling out the 5th generation of our software, and basically, this is the greatest piece of software you can find, and we are very focused to deliver our customers the best service by far. So everything is rest up to us. The best product in the world is there. We want to distribute it properly and to give our customers the best possible satisfaction.
All right. It's all about execution, it sounds like. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. For everyone listening, you could check out more about Golden Matrix on the investor relations website, goldenmatrix.com. Thank you so much for being here and giving us a business update.
Thank you for having us,
for hosting
Katie.
us.